The women's tournament. Holy hell, that was something. What an absolute tournament. This was, I've always kind of known what's going on in the women's sport, like who the stars are, but I've never really kind of really tuned in and watched a ton of their games, if I'm being honest. Like most of us, I think this is the first time so many people turned into the game. This was an awesome experience. This tournament was fantastic. I mean, from the Sweet 16 on, I tried to watch every single game. I missed like maybe one or two, I think. I really tried to watch them all because they were just electric. I mean, absolute fantastic basketball. We saw in the national championship, just LSU came out. Congratulations to them, but there is definitely a shadow, obviously, hanging over them between the officiating, which was terrible, and we'll talk about, but first and foremost, the Angel Reese situation and Caitlin Clark. I think that this has sort of taken off in a really nasty direction. I think a lot of people are being incredibly intellectually dishonest with this conversation to try to push certain narratives. What Angel Reese did and what Caitlin Clark has done are not the same. To a point, they were the same. But the idea that talking trash and doing things in the natural flow of the game is the same as the game is clearly over and now I'm going to go and kind of stalk the opponent who, for as far as I could tell, showed no disrespect during the game, wasn't really even talking trash to LSU, said nothing of it, and kind of taunt her for a long period of time when the game is clearly over. I was giving up. Your team is starting to celebrate. It leaves a bad taste. Like it's not great sportsmanship. I love the trash talking element. I love being in the emotional side of it. And Caitlin Clark didn't even care, which is we should also point out. But like I love all that. I like building the stories pregame, and like I like going at it and jarring at it within the natural flow of the game and letting your emotions ride. But once the game's over, I mean, that's when we go from gamesmanship to sportsmanship, and that's just bad sportsmanship. And it to the people that were calling her, classless. Some people were really going to the deep end with it. That sucks. I don't think that's cool. I took it as it was a cringy moment. Like, it was cringe and lame to me because it almost, in the moment, it sort of felt almost like there was a resentment towards Caitlin Clark for getting so much shine, which she well deserved. She was absolutely phenomenal and helped grow the game exponentially. But it almost felt like there was a resentment towards her because they keep talking about Caitlin Clark, even in their celebration in their lives later that night. It just kept coming up, and it was weird. Like, it was really weird and obsessive, and it almost felt sort of like a resentment towards her because she showed no disrespect, as far as I could tell, to LSU during that game. And once again, like I said, I like the trash talking part of, like, in the game. I like showing your emotions and being competitive and kind of having that gamesmanship within the game and trying to get people off their edge by talking smack. Like, I love all of that. I think that's great for story building. I think that's great from the entertainment standpoint of it. I think that should be like that's something I'm cool with, And Caitlin Clark handled it phenomenally. But yeah, no, they are not the same thing. Like, it's intellectually dishonest to push the "you can't see me" and say that's what people are mad about. I don't think there's a soul mad about Angel Reese doing "you can't see me" at the foul line to Caitlin Clark. That was totally cool. Caitlin Clark can dish it and she can take it, she showed. It's the after part where the game's clearly over and then you're continuing to do it and continuing to, like, follow her around the court. That's the difference. It's not the same. Nobody is angry and posting the pictures that, like, the "you can't see me," that's what people are mad about. I didn't see a single person be mad about that. It left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. The other stuff after the game was clearly over and you had won. And Caitlin Clark had dropped 30 on you, too, by the way. So that sucked. It was in poor taste. I don't think that should, it's going to stay, unfortunately, with Angel Reese forever. It's going to build a really big storyline next year. If these two teams meet again next year somehow, it's going to be absolutely electric. But I don't think it defines her character or who she is. I don't know enough about her, but I wouldn't use that. It seems like it was just a bad moment. And it does feel like there is a resentment there almost to, the shine that Caitlin Clark has gotten. That's how I read the situation. It was lame. It was kind of cringy. It left a bad taste in the mouth. But the people that are that are using this as a moment to say that these things were equal and the same. It isn't. It's not in any case. The officiating was also horrendous. Now that does not take away from LSU. I think we've all. And Woke Trophy Kids presented by Bad News Media. It is Thursday, March 9th. And we finally made it. It is March. We are back after a long, long hiatus. I do apologize, Trophy Kids. To the newer listeners, you may not know this. To the older listeners, we always appreciate your support. We appreciate the support of the newer listeners. But after football season is such a grind for us here at Trophy Kids. Making sure we're delivering the best content to you, making sure we're giving you the best bets out there. It's such a grind that after football season ends, we do take a bit of a long hiatus up until March when college basketball really gets going. We're taking that time to prepare, to get ready to give you some more good content, and really shift gears and reset ourselves. So we'll be back in the full swing of things next week with our rotating host of guests to break down college basketball and March Madness and the tournament and all the fun that is there. But I wanted to hop on to talk about a little kind of sports recap, what's going on in the world, and conference championship play, because we got conference championship week here this week right now. And I mean, we're going to start up right in the front. The Big East. What I'm about to say, some of you might be like, oh my God, Nate, you are such a homer. We get it. You're a Xavier fan. If you're watching, you can see the Xavier neon light. You can see the new, which, by the way, announcement, if you guys didn't know, the shirt looks fantastic. But we have a merch store out there, badnewsstore.com. You can get Trophy Kids merch, like this nice coffee mug I got going on here if you're